Right then, welcome back to this year's first book review. And today I'm going to talk about Witches Among Us by Thorn Mooney. Now, unfortunately, not really unfortunately, I do like Everand, but they have this habit of putting books back on the shelf, taking books off the shelf until a certain date. And I think they do it to create demand or something. I'm not sure. But the problem is they've taken it off the shelf and it's only available to me on the 27th of Jan. So I can't get into all of the highlights and stuff that I created to kind of read some of the stuff to you. So that's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but I can still talk about the book. And I mean, Thorn Mooney, you have to follow Thorn Mooney on her YouTube channel and stuff, or TikTok, wherever, because she's brilliant. I don't know Thorn personally, but I think she is amazing. She's a great scholar. She's an amazing witch, and she really, really knows what she's talking about. So definitely give her a follow and everything else. It's worth it. But Thorn has always had a knack for cutting through the noise in the modern witchcraft world, and Witches Among Us is no exception. It's one thing to talk about spellcraft, ritual, and coven work. It's another thing entirely to tackle the question she takes head on here. What actually is a witch, and how do we even begin to talk about witchcraft in a world where every practitioner defines the word differently? It's a bold topic because it's messy, political, emotional, and deeply personal. And somehow she manages to thread that needle with honesty and just enough humility to keep the reader leaning in. The book opens with Mooney reflecting on the impossibility of defining witchcraft in a single neat sentence. Anyone who has spent even 5 minutes in a witchcraft community, online or offline, knows how quickly that question turns into chaos. For some, witchcraft is a religion. For others, it's folk magic or activism or personal power or ancestral connection. For some, it's purely psychological. And for others, it's undeniably spirit driven. And Mooney doesn't run from that. She dives straight into the mess of it and treats it like something worth taking seriously rather than something to gloss over. What I appreciate most is the tone. She is someone who has been around long enough to see witchcraft shift, evolve, fracture, and recohere again, and her writing reflects that. There's no condescension here, there's no back in my day grumbling, no pressure to accept her view as the definitive one. Instead, she treats witchcraft as a living thing, one that changes depending on who's holding it, where they come from, and what world they're trying to survive in. That's a refreshing stance, especially in a landscape where so many books push a single rigid model as though it's the only valid one. A major strength of the book is how Thorne intertwines a personal experience with cultural analysis. She never pretends to be above the conversation. She admits her biases, admits the limits of her perspective, and admits that she's still figuring out what the word witch even means to her. This is where her voice really shines. Instead of presenting a tidy doctrine, she offers a guided exploration, almost an invitation to examine how your own identity as a witch formed, who influenced it, and how it sits alongside the identities of others who practice nothing like you do. She also tackles the uncomfortable stuff: gatekeeping, cultural appropriation, misinformation, trauma, the aesthetic versus the spiritual, the influencer problem, and the generational tensions within the craft. None of these topics are easy, and plenty of writers avoid them for fear of alienating readers. Mooney doesn't avoid them at all, but she approaches each with curiosity rather than judgment. And the result is a book that feels honest rather than preachy, critical without being harsh, and thoughtful without drowning in academic stiffness. One of the real highlights is how she examines witchcraft in the context of society at large. She points out that claiming the identity of witch carries different risks and meanings depending on who you are. race, gender, sexuality, class, and location all shape the experience of witchcraft in ways that books rarely bother to address. And again, she doesn't pretend to have all the answers. She just acknowledges the complexity and builds space for it. That alone makes this book feel modern in the best possible way. Witchcraft isn't a museum piece, and Mooney refuses to treat it like one. From a structural standpoint, the book flows beautifully. You feel guided rather than lectured. The chapters weave theory, memoir, community observations, and practical questioning in a way that makes you want to underline entire paragraphs. It's immensely readable, especially if you enjoy a conversational tone that still carries weight and intention. You can tell she cares about language, and it shows. Even the more abstract passages feel grounded and accessible. Of course, no book is perfect. If there's a downside, it's that the very strength of the book, the witchcraft is too diverse to define cleanly angle, means some readers may walk away wishing for more concrete answers. Mooney isn't interested in giving the reader a checklist of what makes a witch, and if you're someone who wants a clear, authoritative definition, this book will not give it to you. Some might find that frustrating, but truly that's part of the point. Witchcraft has never been a single thing, and pretending otherwise would have made the book far weaker. It should be noted that this book is not for someone who is already practicing witchcraft or Wicca, unless you just want to read it for the appreciation of Thorn Mooney, like I did. This is a book that is ideal for a friend or family member, those loved ones who don't understand what you mean when you come to them with the news that you are a witch. It gives them perspective and understanding, and hopefully opens up the doors of communication to gain more understanding. For that reason, it is also great for someone just coming into the paths and not having the foggiest idea what all this stuff is and what they should be doing. This is a starting point, and it's a fantastically explained one. The result is a book that feels necessary. It's reflective without being self-indulgent, critical without being cruel, and open-ended in a way that encourages genuine self-examination. It's the kind of book that reminds you that witchcraft is bigger than any one tradition, aesthetic, or personal philosophy. It's a conversation starter, one that challenges you to consider not just what you do as a witch, but why you call yourself one, how you identify interacts with the identities of others, and what responsibilities come with that. In short, Thorn Mooney has done something incredibly difficult. She's written a book about witchcraft that honors its diversity without diluting its depth, respects its history without freezing it in place, and engages with its challenges without losing sight of its beauty. And for that reason, it is a brilliant book. And as I said, you can't go wrong with Thorn Mooney, in my opinion. All right, that's that book review. A link to the book on Amazon will be in the description. If you do want to follow that link, I get a small commission, which I thank you for purchasing through that link, because then I'm going to go on to buy other books that I can then review. All right, so have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.